Yo, what is up, guys? It's Pedro here. So the Washington Commanders won their first game of the season and their first game of the Jayden Daniels, Dan Quinn, and Adam Peters era. It wasn't pretty, but we're going to talk about it in today's video, so stay tuned till the end because a lot of good stuff and some bad things happen in today's game. We're going to talk about it. If you guys are new, make sure to subscribe, hit that like button and that notification bell as well. All those things help out a ton. It's a victory Sunday. Tomorrow's victory Monday. If you're happy, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. It's free. It takes 1 second. Let's get into it. It was not a pretty game, and even though it probably wasn't a smart decision, I kind of wanted them to go for a touchdown there at the end of the game because winning a game, not scoring a touchdown is crazy. 7 field goals, and that's the first person who gets the game ball. And there are multiple game balls, but Austin Seibert, who the Washington Commanders signed off the street this week, he came in and kicked 7 field goals, was 7 for 7, 45 was the long, and had 21 points for the Commanders. He was very good. And the thing is, and some people might be like, well, he didn't really kick anything far. And that is true. But still, kicking 7 for 7 is something, first of all, that's never happened here. The most we've ever had, the Commanders / Redskins / Washington football team, is 6. He had 7. We'll talk about that a little bit later. Zacchaeus had a good return. Austin Eckler had a good return. Got a little lucky that Graham Gano got hurt, but Commanders won the game fair and square. Jayden Daniels, let's start off with him. Thought he had a solid game. 23 of 29, 226 yards, no touchdowns, but no interceptions. Got sacked 5 times. But here's the thing. And I think that's something he does need to work on. He needs to get rid of the ball a little bit earlier. And sometimes he looks to run too quickly instead of letting the play develop a little bit. And that's something maybe watching the film will be a little bit different. But the good thing is, though, the 5 sacks only led to negative 16 yards. So he lost about 3 yards per sack, when normally I would say it's probably 6 yards per sack for a quarterback. Usually. I mean, Daniel Jones got sacked once and it was for 3 yards. But generally, I would say probably like 5 yards per sack. So to only get lose 16 yards. Obviously, you would like this number to be lower, the 5 sacks, but to only get lose 16 yards is pretty good. 23 for 29. Most of the passes were short because the offensive line just couldn't stop the Giants' pass rush early. So Cliff had stuff designed for shorter stuff, and I thought Cliff from the 20 to the 20 was calling a good game. Once he got in the red zone there, though, it was awful. I mean, 7 trips to the red zone, and you only score. You scored 21 points, but not a single touchdown. And the offensive line, let's talk about it. Cosme, at least 1, maybe 2 penalties inside the red zone. Nick Allegretti had a penalty inside the red zone on like 1st and goal, 2nd and goal. And then I think, who else had one? I mean, Sam Cosme had multiple that I remember. Also, I think Cornelius Lucas had one. Just way, way, way too many penalties. And that affected things. And then also just some of the play calling was very questionable. It is what it is, but I did not like Cliff Kingsbury's game today. It's tough because, again, outside the red zone, he was good, but that's a big thing, is the red zone. And when you can't convert, it's not good. The team is not disciplined. At least the offensive line isn't getting those penalties. And yeah, that just cannot happen. Jayden, though, overall, thought he was solid. Completed some passes down the field. A couple to Ertz, 1 or 2 to Noah Brown. So he had he actually completed some passes down the field. And there was only like one where I was like, maybe it could get intercepted, and that was the Zach Ertz one, where Zach Ertz did a great job coming down with it. It was debatable whether it was an interception or not. I didn't think it was. I think, I think it was 22, didn't have control of it. But I thought Zach Ertz should have, come to the ball a little bit more because he just waited for it and let number 22 or whoever it was, I think it was 22, they allowed him to, go up for the ball. But Zach Ertz, speaking of him, he had a good game. 4 catches, 62 yards on 4 targets. Picked him up this week in fantasy. Started him. He had a good game. Noah Brown, shout out Noah Brown. 3 catches on 3 targets, 56 yards. Had that 34-yard catch. He also made some really tough catches. So shout out Noah Brown. Austin Eckler also had a good game. 3 catches on 3 targets for 47 yards. Terry didn't have the best game. It wasn't necessarily on him. 6 catches, 22 yards on 8 targets. He had like 2 or 3 screens that went for like a combined -5, -6 yards, and that wasn't on him. He was getting pummeled right away. The blocking wasn't good on that. Zacchaeus had some nice plays. Diami had a couple catches. Good for him there. Star of the offense, though, Brian Robinson. 17 carries, 133 yards, almost 8 yards a carry. No touchdowns, but had a 40-yard run, had like a 32-yard run. Shout out Brian Robinson. Probably the best game of his career. Definitely his, career high in rushing yards for sure. But no touchdowns, but that's fine. I thought he was very good. He was very good in this game. Had that crazy run where thought for sure he was going to get, he was going to get the first down, but only get like 1 or 2 yards. And then I think that was his 40-yard gain. Jayden Daniels, 10 carries, 44 yards. I do not like the runs up the middle that are designed like that. There was one where I think he was supposed to, I think it was like a jet sweep or an end around. I can't remember exactly. And he bobbled it. Okay, that's fine. That's not on Cliff. But the other ones that he's running up the middle, I do not like that at all. You're just getting him hit. Outside, that's fine. He'll get you some yards. And he did a couple times. And he did get hit. That was scary. I was like, if this happens, I don't even want to watch the rest of the game. Obviously, I was going to. But, that's something I want them to change up. But that's kind of it on offense. We'll get back into some things. Defensively, it wasn't pretty, and again, not fortunate. Obviously, you don't like injuries, but the Commanders were fortunate that Graham Gano got hurt because that cost them 3 points, I believe, in total in terms of them going for 2-point conversions and kicking. They missed an extra point. They also didn't go for the field goal at the end there. Got lucky with that Malik Neighbors drop, man. He was catching everything and then drops that. I'm going to get into something that really, really was irritating me about a specific player in this game who actually had a solid game, but he was just getting on my nerves. Frankie Louvu was a beast. 11 tackles, 6 solo. Did have that offsides or encroachment or whatever neutral zone, but I didn't even mind that too much because it was 3rd and 1. And because of their kicking situation, they were going to have to go for it anyway. So you really needed a negative play there. And he took the risk, timed it a little bit off, but whatever. I thought Bobby Wagner had a good game, had a nice pass breakup, had a TFL. Mike Sanderstill got cooked on that play. Who scored that touchdown? It was Wan'Dale Robinson. Got cooked on that play. He has not had a good season so far. It's early, though. I thought Percy Butler was fine. Quan Martin was fine. Some of the safeties did miss some tackles in the run game. Clelin Ferrell had a sack, tackle for loss. Shout out to him. John Allen, Deron Payne, didn't really see them much. Dorrance Armstrong, didn't see him much, but he did have 2 QB hits. Tyler Owens had some nice plays. I swear I saw Javonte Jean-Baptiste make some plays or have some pressure. So if that's right, shout out to him. Nick Bellore gets not a game ball, gets a dud. I mean, he had 2 major penalties, one that wiped off a touchdown, and then the other was a unsportsmanlike penalty. So for a guy that's supposed to be a special team stud to do that, Noah Igbenogany, he was up and down. It's a really tough task to go up against someone like Malik Neighbors, and they just weren't having really much help for him in terms of safety help or even some linebackers helping him out. They just didn't do that. And a lot of the times it was Malik Neighbors one-on-one. I did not love that. So he had some up and down plays. He definitely played it better than Michael Davis, who was awful. Michael Davis might have been the worst player on the field today. He was awful. Would give Neighbors some space, and then Neighbors would catch it, and then there was 2 times where he missed a tackle and Neighbors got a big play. Benjamin St. Juste, this is the guy that I'm saying kind of was getting on my nerves. He had a good game for the most part. He had some nice pass breakups. He had a forced fumble that I was actually not able to see because my Wi-Fi was out for a few minutes, and then I got the hotspot running, and then it came back. But what was so annoying, and I guess this is nitpicking, was, man, he celebrates after every little thing. He does the little, he has a new cell. It used to be the lock or whatever, and now it's a strap. And he pulls up his shirt and does what he does. Whatever, he wants to do that. That's fine. But I don't know. I would just reserve that for the big plays because, you know, he would do that and then you'll get cooked the next play. And it's like, bro, come on now. But he did. I want to give him props. He did have some good plays and, yeah, some really good breakups. So shout out to Benjamin St-Juste, who probably had the best game out of anyone in the secondary. Malik Neighbors was a stud. 10 catches, 127 yards, and a tutty. Hopefully that catch gets in his head a little bit. Or that drop gets in his head a little bit and he, you know, doesn't do as well. I mean, I guess whatever. It's not good to hope for someone to do bad, but that was a crazy drop by him because he was catching everything before that. 18 targets is insane, though. It was just all Malik Neighbors, and I think Joe Witt could have done a better job just helping out whoever's guarding Neighbors. Like, you know the ball is going to him. I mean, there was 16 pass attempts. Or, sorry, 27 pass attempts, 18 of them went to Malik Neighbors. Like, you kind of know where it's going. So let's do a little bit better there, Joe Witt and Dan Quinn. It's mostly on Joe Witt, but obviously Dan Quinn has some influence too. It's obvious they're passing to Malik Neighbors 90% of the time, or I guess whatever that is, 60% of the time. Let's do a little bit better there. Going back on offense, Austin Ekeler had a good game, 8 carries, 38 yards, and also had 47 yards rushing. This running back tandem has been very good so far. I mean, 137 rushing yards by Robinson plus 38 from Ekeler. I mean, that gets you to like 71 if I'm doing my math right, and then add in the Ekeler yards there, and I guess receiving, and then Robinson too. That's 50. That's 231 yards if I did my math correctly there. 231 yards by your running backs combined. That's huge. That's absolutely huge. Luke McCaffrey didn't really do much. It's fine. Want to see him get involved though. Had a good game in week 1. And there's one play call I really liked where they kind of had Jayden roll out a little bit to the right, or at least look to the right, and they had a jet sweep, and a couple guys like McLaurin and maybe Zacchaeus or someone else kind of look like they're getting ready for a dump off, and then he switches it and throws it to Austin Ekeler. Thought that was a really good play design by Cliff. So Cliff did have some good things, but the red zone, man, has to be better, especially when you have a weapon like Jayden Daniels who can use his feet and adds another dimension to his to your offense. It just, come on now, you gotta play better than that, or you gotta call a better game than that. So that's just my opinion there on the whole situation. Yeah, Cliff's got to call a better game. Austin Seibert gets a game ball, though. 7 for 7 is insane. And maybe we found our kicker. I'm not going to say it yet just because you never know. But it's a good start. It's a good start. So that's it for today's video. Hope you guys did enjoy. If you did, hit that like button, subscribe if you guys are new. And comment down below who's an OG kicker. I mean, we can go Mark Mosley, I guess. Mark Mosley. So thanks for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed. And peace.